Hi there, I'm Brian Garrity, one of the producers of the Sexperts podcast, along with my good friend Matt Cole. Before we jump into this week's episode, I'd like to give a quick shout out to our guest, Mr. Evan Grimmel. Not only is Evan one of the nicest guys on the planet, he's also funny as hell. Check him out at the Push Comedy Theater on Saturday, August 5th, as he performs with his sketch group, the Pre-Madonnas. The Pre-Madonnas are one of me and Matt's favorite groups at Push. And speaking of the Push Comedy Theater, as always, would like to thank the Pushers. Matt and I are students of theirs, and if you have an interest in improv, sketch, or stand-up comedy, definitely check out pushcomedytheater.com and sign up for a class. We cannot recommend it enough. Also, be sure to join Matt and I in our group, The Dudes, on Friday, July 21st at 10 p.m. for a full-length improv show at Push. Finally, I'd like to dedicate this episode to my good friend, Brian Hutchins. An infectious laugh and energy and a genuine concern and love for others made you one of my all-time favorite people. I will miss you, but I'm very grateful for our friendship. I love you, brother. So now, without any further ado, everything you're about to hear was made up on the spot. Stay tuned for another episode of The Sexperts.
Beep, 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 beep. Turn on your computer, dial up the web, download some information into your head. It's Dr. John and Delilah, they're having a great time. Data to do, it's simply true, we're the Sexperts.
And intro music, and hi there. Welcome to the Sexperts. I am your host, Dr. John T. Alanese, CPM.
And I am Delilah Haydair. And man, I got caught up in some weird stuff lately.
Oh, what is this weird stuff?
Well, you know, I retired early.
Yeah.
Due to all the success of my former business.
Yeah. Businesses, probably.
Yeah, well, I needed something to fill my time, and I don't know how I ended up doing this, but I'm now teaching ping pong to privileged children at yacht clubs throughout Hampton Roads.
So, now talk to me. I like this idea because, like, they're privileged kids. They usually play tennis. I mean, let's say they can afford everything in the world. They think that ping pong is like a lower class, like only the plebs, you know?
They do, and I show up and I say, hey, guys, world's changing. World's changing. You're going to have to be prepared to live possibly upper middle class one day. And so, you'll have an extra room. I can guarantee you that. What are you going to do with it? Throw a ping pong table in there.
Well, I do want to tell our listeners a little bit about what we're about. We're all about sex. We are the Sexperts. We have a combined sex version of maybe like 42 years or so. 42 years, all the continents, about 22 countries.
We've several of the highest peaks in those countries.
Some of the lowest valleys as well.
Yep. We've had our ups and downs.
But we're coming to you live from the parking lot of the Walmart. And
the Walmart.
I mean, there's only one. We're in this one-horse town, so we call it the Walmart. Like, we have the Dairy Queen and the Pick and...
Hey, Paul, where's Ma? She's at the Walmart.
And we're coming to you live to bring you a discussion with a very great guest we'll get to in just a little bit to talk about sex. And today's topic of the day is anal anxiety. Okay, anal anxiety. And I was actually back and forth between this topic, anal anxiety or anxiety of the anus or anxious anal glands. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure exactly what to call it. Maybe I'll decide before we air this one. But it's all about
tomato.
The actual anus has an anxiety of its own.
Yes.
And we'll get to that. But I do want to get to our guest of the day. He's walking up actually with a shopping cart full of items. He just came out of the Walmart. Hi there. Welcome. Hi.
Hi there, guys. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Clark Butterbean.
Clark Butterbean.
I'm actually I'm shopping here at the Walmart because the prices are reasonable.
Yeah.
But also I have to pick up materials for my job.
Oh, what is that?
I'm the guy who actually puts the dots on all the Braille. That's how the blind people read. So somebody actually has to make those dots in the exact spot. So I have to pick up super glue for that.
Super glue. Well, before we get started, just speaking of anxiety, anal anxiety.
Yeah, anal anxiety.
Can you confirm that there's no perishable items in that shopping cart so I can relax?
Oh no, of course I do everything that's shelf stable.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, I'm glad that you're here. You can bring us a different perspective because you would think, anal anxiety and Braille, they may not go hand in hand, but I beg to differ. How'd you get into the Braille business, by the way?
Well, actually, my great grandmother, she could not see.
Yeah.
But we also couldn't afford Braille books for her.
And excuse me, for the podcast listeners, there's no video here, so you can't see Dr. John is waving his hand in front of Mr. Butterbean's face to see if he can see. But Mr. Butterbean's face is exhibiting a smirk as though, yes, I can see.
Yeah, I can see very clearly.
I didn't want to make it obvious. Apparently, it was obvious. I'm sorry.
So back to your story.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I'm used to that, actually. But my great grandmother, she could not see, and we also couldn't afford to buy the Braille books.
Yeah.
I did not like her, though, so I could read the books to her, but I just chose to instead make Braille books for her.
An uncovered topic in history books is the price gouging of Braille books in the 1920s.
Yeah, if you go to...
They were all owned by one company. It was before they split up all the monopolies.
Yeah.
And, man, you'd be lucky to...
Even still on Amazon, the Kindle version, $2.99. The regular version, $9.99. Braille version, $20.99.
I have an uncle who...
$20.99. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Back then, especially. I have an uncle who was a...
Bear.
No, what do you call people, religious people who go somewhere to help
Wrangler.
other people?
Oh, extortionist.
Missionaries?
Missionary. He was a missionary, and he chose his mission was to live amongst blind people.
Yeah.
And translate the Bible into Braille.
Oh my God!
Which
Wait, translate?
Yeah.
Wait, was he like making up stuff?
Well, nobody.
It shouldn't be translation. It should just be like word for word. Like this word is this word.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, he transposed. How's that?
There you go. That's a better word.
So we were all amazed. We thought, what a great guy,
Yeah.
But then he
what
turned.
a great guy.
Then he turned around, and he priced those Bibles at like $2,700.
Extortionist.
Yeah.
So that back to where
he now lives in a huge mansion. He hasn't seen a deaf blind person in probably a fortnight.
Now that was his mission. What would be your mission in life, Mr. Butterbean?
It's one of those things, This is a career I just kind of fell into.
Yeah. Okay.
I think if it was if I had any choice, if I had my druthers,
your dream.
I would probably actually choose to instead be the person who writes the books instead of transcribing or whatever.
Hashtag dare to dream.
Oh my God! So tell us about some of pitch us. So tell us about some of your ideas for stories and. Or fiction or nonfiction? First off,
absolutely fiction.
Is your central character a Butterbean?
Well, Jack and the Beanstalk really spoke to me as a child growing up. Actually,
would you children's stories? Is your
yeah, definitely fiction. I mean, the real world sucks. Day
in day out, you're punching.
You don't have to tell us we're in a parking lot,
right?
Walmart,
the Walmart
by seagulls.
So walk us through what would be like a story that you'd like to tell.
Well, I would actually like to tell the story of my family coming over and how we got the name Butterbean.
When the first Butterbean came to America.
Right, because the true story is very depressing. I mean, that was what we had over in Europe. We just came over here and they were like, oh, that's Americanized enough. I would like to give it more of a, flair.
Let's do it. Here we go. All right, and now presenting the Sexperts production of the
first Butterbean in the New World.
The first Butterbean in the New World. Crash, splash. The ship, you can see the ship rocking back and forth, and it's coming to the New World.
There's a woman standing on the bow of the boat with a tear down her eye.
It's in the shape of a Butterbean. And she says to her husband,
"There's the New World." She has a very deep voice. That's a Butterbean trait.
Oh, deep voices. Yeah, you have a deep voice as well.
Yeah. The women in our family, they're basically men. From the neck up.
So these are the lady parts down below.
These have goatees.
Oh, and speaking of lady parts down below, I do want to get to our topic of the day. You can kind of help us fill in the blanks here today. I'm sure you have a unique perspective, but our topic of the day is anal anxiety, or the anus... anxious anuses, maybe? I'm still kind of working around this topic.
Yeah, I'm not sure that...
Yeah.
like, I mean, I'm a human. I'm part of the universe. So
Yeah.
Almost everything we talk about here applies to me.
Okay.
But
I'm following you so far.
but I have regular anxiety.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm on Prozac,
Yeah, who isn't?
but I have a gag reflex, so I have to take all of my Prozacs through suppository. So I don't know if perhaps I've never felt anxiety, and I think maybe it's because I get a little residue from my regular.
Well, that explains why you're so anxious about, being concerned about my perishables or lack thereof.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Because you hear about people who survived the Great Depression. They are like hoarders. Like they stockpile food, and they make sure that they have all their food because they're like, don't know, stock market crash.
Yeah, my great grandfather had a barn full of powdered donuts.
Was your great grandma? Is that why you didn't like her? Was she like kind of a depression hoarder? What was her deal?
No, she
Yeah.
was just a mean person.
What'd she do to you?
Oh, she used to beat me with a cane.
Oh,
Yeah. She was very spry for a very elderly lady.
but now she was blind, so you got to put it on yourself a little bit too. Is you could have just moved out of the way.
See, the problem is it would have been disrespectful, and I was raised by my grandmother to be respectful of my great-grandmother.
Did you like your grandmother?
I did.
Okay.
We got along together. We used to skip rocks.
And what's the derivation of Butterbean as a name? Is that Liechtensteinian?
I believe that it has some origins in there. It's definitely an Eastern European name.
Oh, we didn't use accents in the scene. Let's go back to that scene. So the waves are crashing, and they pull up into the port, and the husband goes, "Well, we are here in the new world. We shall change our name from Butterbean to Butterbean."
And that right there, I think you actually, when this book ever gets
Yeah.
published,
Yeah.
I actually sit down and write and follow my dream.
Yep.
When the movie version happens,
Oh.
I would.
You don't even have to wait for that audiobook.
Audio
Audio
book.
children's books are huge nowadays.
On Amazon, those are even less expensive than the Braille versions.
Right. I mean, if you ever give up midwifery,
Oh.
acting is the.
That will never happen.
Not to correct, it's midwifery, and I
apologize.
will. We have a saying in the midwifery business: once you're a midwife, you don't go biff.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
As in Tanner from Back to the Future?
yeah. I mean, it's inside baseball. I don't want to talk too much because actually we got to get to our topic of the day. It's very fascinating, and I'm still kind of on my notepad, kind of tip typing. Is it anal anxiety? Anal anxiety or the rectum?
Does Walmart
Yeah.
Does Walmart fill you with anxiety, or does it relax you? Is the number of selections and items overwhelming, or does the price savings ease your mind? How do you feel about shopping at Walmart?
It's not so much the overwhelming products.
Yeah.
It's more just dealing with the huddled masses actually in the Walmart because
yeah.
there's all sorts of people. There's the wealthy, there's the poor, there's the people in the middle.
Talk to us. Yeah, let's get back to the ping pong thing because you actually work with the wealthy. Delilah.
Yes, and my understanding is my kids that I teach ping pong to,
Yeah.
their parents will take them to Walmart maybe once a year, just as a warning that if you don't follow this plan, you could end up here. It's
sort of-
kind of like a scared straight. Yeah.
Oh my god. Scared straight for rich kids.
Yeah.
God.
And honestly, it shakes them up.
Yeah.
When they come back to the yacht club, it's a couple days before they can settle back into the dulcet tones of a ping pong volley. So yeah, usually we schedule a couple day break between the Walmart trip and our next ping pong lesson.
Who do you hate in the Braille business?
I'll have to be honest. Actually, it's gonna be the audio bookmakers.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They totally
Yeah.
undercut us. I
I
mean,
can see.
because unless you're in the Helen Keller market, you
My,
really
my understanding is a lot of blind kids nowadays. They're not even learning Braille. They just audiobook.
They just
everything.
listen. What happens if you lose your ears, bruh?
Well, and
What are you gonna do?
You're putting a lot of trust in the
your-
makers of these audiobooks to not change the lyrics. Like,
Like your was it your uncle who
Yeah.
changed all the Bible verses and stuff
Yeah.
to meet his ends?
yeah, what if I took a Dr. Seuss book and just made it, manipulative? Oh, the places you'll never go.
One fish, two fish, red fish. Send a check for $50 to Delilah Haydair.
In the beginning, God created man, woman, and the man was blind.
And he was beautiful, and his name was Delilah. So basically, I want to get to you're basically artisanal Braille maker, right? Because I would think is that right? Because you can mass produce Braille stuff.
You can, but take the super glue and doing each dot individually. It kind of gives that touch. It's like you can go to a market and buy cheap sweatshop made clothes, or you could go to Amish country and you could buy something that was handmade.
So you're like the Amish country of Braille,
right?
My understanding is his accent,
Mr. Butterbean.
You can hear his accent. His
accent from the old country of Liechtenstein.
You can hear his accent in the variations of the drops of super glue.
Oh, Jesus!
You can tell if the super glue was dropped by a Liechtensteinian descent or a Romanian descent. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Actually, I put my T's. Actually, I drop it a little bit to the left.
Oh
to
my
get
God!
that little bit of accent.
And I see that.
Wait a second. Are you drawing entire letters with super glue, or are you doing Braille dots?
No, it's Braille dots.
Okay.
Yeah, true Braille.
They're true Braille. It's like some people don't connect. It's different.
You want to hear who I feel bad for?
Who?
Blind people in China.
Why?
I mean, the Chinese alphabet is hard enough, but the Braillean Chinese alphabet, they literally have.
Wait, they have different Braille for different languages. Is it true?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
They have Chinese Braille has 375,000 characters.
And 50 words for snowflake.
Think of how long it takes them to sing their ABCs.
Oh, no. And if they're Helen Keller, they can't do it very well anyways. So I see that you have gifts for us, which we don't usually accept gifts, but these look so lovely. And they're in Braille. They're kind of homey wooden carvings with Braille dots. What does it say? I don't know Braille, unfortunately.
Oh, no problem, actually. This one I have for you here says, "May your hair always be moist."
God, let me just rub my fingers on it. Oh, I see. I don't know Braille, but if I were to guess what this would say, it may say something like, "You look real good."
Well, speaking of moist hair,
yeah, moist hair. Yeah,
we're drifting away from our topic of the day.
Oh, right, which is anal anxiety.
Yeah.
Or again, it doesn't really taste right in my mouth when I say it, but anal anxiety is our topic of the day, which we do want to get to because a lot of people can be nervous about different things with that has to do with pooping, the anus.
Say no more.
Yeah,
nervousness and pooping.
Yeah.
God help the person that has to poop at a Walmart.
Is it bad? I don't even go in those. That's where I feel privileged is because I can hold it in until I can get back home.
One of my ping pong kids, he got a B in handwriting.
I thought you meant a tiny little B.
No, he got it on his report card, which is not tolerated at the yacht clubs. So his punishment was he had to stay at the Walmart after everyone else was already scared straight. He had to stay until he passed the bowel movement. Which, I hope Child Protective Services isn't listening right now. But, let's just say that B went up to an A 9 weeks later.
Oh, God. What'd you study in school to get into Braille making?
Oh, I actually focused mostly on... basket weaving.
So you've always been into crafting in general.
Yeah.
And actually, that's another gift that
using my hands.
Describe this gift. It's a basket, but it has a Braille centric kind of theme here.
Oh yeah, when you rub your fingers around the entire thing, there is different words and messages depending on the direction that you are rubbing it.
Oh, it's
my God.
A choose your own Braille adventure.
Exactly. It's secular, Yeah. So if you start from here on the left side of the handle and go around, it says you will always be successful.
Yeah.
But if you go the other direction, it says successful you will be always.
Wow, that's some adventure.
I will always choose that adventure. Yeah, well, it's good that you're creative, because you can just, punch the clock. Literally, sometimes with Braille punching, these things are dripping the glue on here. But you actually make baskets and you want to, tell tales, Oh, God.
I went to the Blind Smithsonian.
What? You're blowing my mind.
I am like totally jealous of you right now.
Yeah, well, I don't mean to
Yeah.
museum drop.
Wait, you've never been?
I've never been privileged enough to go.
You've heard a lot about it, though.
It's exclusive.
Yeah.
They have a Braille Constitution,
A Braille.
a Braille Declaration of Independence. Back then, they translated all important documents into Braille.
Wow.
They have a Braille Scarlet Letter.
Wait, like the book or like just
dress.
one letter?
The dress.
The actual dress that she wore.
You can close your eyes and feel the A.
Very scandalous.
Well, speaking of closing your eyes and feeling the A, our topic of the day today is anal anxiety, but I see that actually there's a security guard walking around here, and we actually don't want to mess with Walmart security guards. They mean business,
Not
okay?
to mention these seagulls are getting a little bit...
Right. Yeah, I should
Ornery.
probably get my shelf stable goods into my car.
Well, I can't help but look at your shopping cart here and think this man's about to have one hell of a 4th of July.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You should those baked beans all canned. I cannot wait to braille them up.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Butterbean. Your middle name should be Braille. Would you like to plug anything or give any messages? One last message to our devoted listeners.
No, just take care of your fingers out there, folks.
Take care of your fingers.
Speaking of plugging things, we didn't get to our topic today,
Yeah.
but we need to reschedule this topic.
Yeah,
because,
absolutely.
There are probably hundreds of thousands of people here experiencing anal anxiety who really need relief.
Especially at the Walmart. So thank you so much, Mr. Butterbean.
My pleasure.
This has been another delightful episode of the Sexperts. I am your host, Dr. John T. Alanese, CPM.
And I'm Delilah Haydare, and I'll be serving my backhand on some privileged kids at Norfolk Yacht Club on Saturday afternoon.
See you sex time.
See you next time. Hi.